Namaste. My name is Gayatri Dasi and it's time for our ASMY cooking class. We're continuing on with the sweet theme. Today we're going to be cooking vegan gingerbread. This is a really healthy but delicious recipe. We are going to get a little bit naughty and put some cream cheese icing on there, but we'll give you an option for the vegans. So a nice lemon frosting is a great option for vegans. So we're going to start by adding all the wet ingredients to a bowl, and our egg replacer is flax meal. So sometimes this is called linseed meal. It's the same thing, flax seeds and linseeds. So we're going to place them into the bowl. So we have quarter of a cup of ground flaxseed meal. And then we're going to add some oil. Now, if you didn't want to use the oil, you can use additional milk. So there's a quarter of a cup of oil. I'm using rice bran. Sunflower is good. Anything that doesn't have flavor, you don't want to put olive oil in there. It's going to have quite a strong flavor. So we're adding the oil. We have got some white vinegar. We've got 2 tablespoons here. You could use apple cider vinegar if you prefer. And then we've got we're using soy milk here. You could use regular milk if you're not a vegan. You could use almond milk, any type of plant-based milk or any milk of your choice. So we have here 1 3/4 cups. And then this is what's really going to give it the gingerbread flavor, the molasses. So we've got here 1/2 cup of molasses. You can use blackstrap or just ordinary molasses. So this gives it the real nice, strong, molassesy flavor, which gingerbread has. So yeah, I wouldn't leave the molasses out. This really does give it the oomph. Okay, so we're going to whisk this together now, just so that it's fully incorporated. All the ingredients are mixed well. Just getting that nice gingerbread color already. Okay. And we are going to leave this for 10 minutes, just so that the flax seeds, the meal, starts to thicken. So this is what binds the gingerbread in this one without using eggs. So we'll be back in 10 minutes and we'll show you the outcome of our flax mixture. Okay, so we're back. This is the flax mix. It's thickened up a little bit, so after 10 minutes. So you need to let it sit and rest for 10 minutes. So while you are resting it, waiting for it to thicken, you can mix up your dry ingredients. We have 2 cups of plain all-purpose flour. So you could use wholemeal if you like. You could use spelt or gluten-free, whatever flour you like to use. We have got 1 cup of sugar. Now I'm using jaggery. Jaggery is it's got a real molassesy flavor to it. It's very delicious. You can buy it from the Indian grocery store. It's got a lot of nutrition in it. A lot of nutrients are still in the sugar, because what it is sugarcane juice that's been boiled down. And that's what you're left with, jaggery. Make sure when you buy it that you don't buy the rock jaggery. It's in like rocks. It's actually like a rock. It's really hard to break up. You want to get the powdered form that they've already powdered for you. So we'll pop that in, 1 cup of jaggery, but you could use coconut sugar, brown sugar, raw sugar, any type of sugar that you like. We have some bicarb soda, bicarb. So we're going to throw that in, 2 teaspoons of bicarb. We've got 1/2 teaspoon of Himalayan salt I like to use, but any salt will do. We've got a tablespoon of cinnamon. So very important that we use these spices because this is what makes the cake. This cake needs spices to make it taste like gingerbread. So we've got a tablespoon of cinnamon, and we have a tablespoon of ginger powder. And we've also got a teaspoon of allspice. So allspice is not like your regular 5 spice. 5 spice is a mixture of 5 spices, and allspice is a berry, so completely different thing. You can't substitute it. You could possibly leave it out, but it's got a really nice flavour, so maybe hunt for it. I'm sure they have it at Coles and Woolworths. We get ours at the local deli here called Mega Continental. So we're just going to mix these dry ingredients together. Just make sure there's no lumps with the sugar. Incorporating it really well. So if you make sure there's no lumpy sugar pieces, it'll be less that you need to mix the cake when you add the wet ingredients, because you don't want to be mixing it up too much. Any sort of cake that you over mix will tend to become rubbery, so we don't like rubbery cakes. Okay, that looks about right. Okay, so we're going to add our wet ingredients now to the dry ingredients. So make a well in the center and just tip it all in. It's a nice brown color with that molasses. And then we just fold it in, trying not to over mix it. It's got a real nice gingerbread consistency, this one. It's a bit heavier than a cake, but it's still light. Quite a moist mix here. There's just a bit of flour here still, so we'll keep mixing, just gently folding it through. Okay. Now we've got this is a 5" by 9". Not sure what that is in centimetres, but it's a regular loaf tin size. And I always like to use some baking paper. It makes it easier to get your cake out. I leave the little handles there so you can just pull it out when it's cool. So we're going to pour this mix into the loaf tin. Good to use one of those rubber or those spatulas. They're silicone spatula, just to get the last bit out. And we're going to pop that into a preheated moderate oven for around about 50 minutes until we poke a sharp knife or a toothpick into the center of the cake and it comes out clean. So we'll be back once I get this out of the oven and I'll show you the finished product and we'll make the icing to go on top. Okay, so I've got the cake out of the oven, the gingerbread cake, and I'm actually not real happy with this loaf tin. It was too small. I had this gut feeling that it wasn't going to work out. I should have gone with that. Personally, I would have done it. I would have put the cake mix into a square loaf pan like this, a square cake tin or a round cake tin, something a bit bigger. So what's happened here is it's sort of almost started to overflow, and it's not a big deal. This is real life cooking here. So what I would do is just trim off that little bit on the edge just so that it's nice and neat. And then we can put the icing on without having a big piece stuck out to the side. So we are going to ice this. We're going to ice it with a cream cheese frosting, but I will put up the recipe for the lemon frosting as well if you're a vegan. We don't have a lot of vegans coming to the mantra room. We get a few, mainly people are vegetarians, so no eggs and gelatin and things like that. So we're going with that today. So we've got in our bowl, make sure it's got high sides, or you find that it'll start to spray out on the walls and things. So create a lot of mess. So a high-sided bowl. We've got 1 block of cream cheese. Any type of cream cheese is fine. We use the one from Aldi because it's quite a bit cheaper, but you could use Philadelphia if you're a Philadelphia fan. We've got about just over half a cup of butter and 3 cups of icing sugar. So that's all that's in there. We're going to add a little bit of, oh, we forgot to get it out. Hang on a sec. A little bit of vanilla. So just about a 1.5 teaspoon of vanilla. And then we're going to blitz it up with our handheld cake mixer. You might have a proper cake mix at home. You can use that. So this is just on low to start with, and just so it doesn't go too far up the walls. Keep going until all the lumps are out. Okay, we have a lovely creamy frosting now. So I'm going to frost the cake. Okay, so I've got my spatula and have a look at this beautiful creaminess here. So there's quite a bit of frosting here. Can be a nice, I know people who prefer a bit of frosting with a bit of cake with their frosting. So there's plenty here. You could go down both sides of the cake as well, so it's completely covered. But that's going to be a bit messy for the mantra room. So we're just going to do the top. And if it was in the square tin, it would be just the right amount. We've got a little bit too much here, but I'm sure if I put it in the fridge, it'll get eaten. It's just nice to eat with a spoon. Okay, so we've got our frosted gingerbread cake. I'm going to cut it now. And there you go. It's that nice fine gingerbready type cake. It's very, very tasty. It's got lots of spices in it, and it's very moist as well, very moist. And with the cream cheese frosting, it's just the bomb. Hope you enjoy making this gingerbread cake, and I'll see you again soon. Namaste.